Hi, everyone. It's Melanie Johnson, one of the owners of Elite Online Publishing. We have something really exciting for you today. We are going to teach something that we've never taught before and show you something we've never shown you before and make an offer that we've never offered before. I know so many people always have trouble with their book marketing. That's probably the biggest question we get is, how do I market my book now that it's published? And you want to know that even before you've marketed your book. But I have Jenn Foster, my co-owner of Elite Online Publishing, with me. Hi, Jenn.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, I think that's the biggest question we get asked is, now my book's published, now what? How do I market this?
Yeah, can you help me market my book? Can you help me market my book? So we have another Melanie here with us today, Melanie Herschorn, and she is an expert book marketing person. And she's just amazing. I just love her. Of course, she's got the best name. No offense, Jenn, but hey, she's another Melanie, and I don't meet many Melanies. And she is just fantastic. Let's bring her on so we can say hi to her.
All right.
Hello, everybody. And yes, Melanie is the best name. I agree. No offense.
So let's tell them what they're going to learn today. From us, we are going to teach you our deep secrets, some of them, not all of them, of how to become a #1 best-selling author. That's one of the key things to getting your book noticed and getting some traction and giving you a title that lasts a lifetime. So we're going to dive deep into the key things that make you a #1 best-selling author. And then Melanie, tell them what you're going to teach them today, which I just love your content.
Well, I'm very excited because I'm going to show you how to take your book, which is really a treasure trove of content, and take the content out and use it in your marketing. So you are basically repurposing what you've already done, and this is going to keep you going as long as you plan to market your book.
Oh, I just love that. So many people need that. Go ahead, Jenn.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just love that because you spend all the time writing the book and you publish the book and you think, oh, I'm done. And then you're like, oh, wait, I got to tell people to go buy the book. I got to market myself and no one knows what to do. So I love that you have this tool that you can know exactly what to do and the steps to take.
Yeah. And a lot of authors get it wrong. You know, Melanie, you're going to appreciate this. This is a notebook that I have. And, and so
I love
a lot of authors will just pose pictures like, oh, buy my book. And that's not how you sell your book. So let's not do that anymore. Starting now.
Let's come up with a whole new way. Yeah, there's things that work and don't work. So we're going to teach you some of that. But I just want to assure you, you are in the right place if you feel like you've published your book and it's just gone nowhere. You're like, I really don't have any sales. It's just sitting there. I thought Amazon was going to do all this work for me and nothing's happening. And you really want to become a #1 best-selling author, but you have no idea how to do it. What are the secrets? How do you do the behind-the-scene things to make it a bestseller? And you're struggling to get book sales. And you're struggling to get your book to be used for your business. So we're going to teach you strategies and how to boost your book sales no matter what or when you've published your book. So Melanie, start to dive into some of those things. Like you said, don't hold your book up and say, hey, you know, this is buy my book. I remember there's another guy who said, you should have it on your Facebook picture, buy my book, you know, put it right in as your post. And I'm like, oh, it's just so campy, so cheesy.
It's cheesy and it's annoying. You know, it's like, it's not about the book. It's about what's inside the book, because you want to leverage what you wrote and utilize that for your marketing. So I would love to dive right in if that's a good time right now. We can start chatting about all that stuff. So the first thing that I would recommend then is to take a look at your book and figure out what social media platform you should really be on. Because, and you know, what's very exciting is that I'm going to be teaching a little bit, but there's so much more to be taught, of course. But what social media platform are your ideal readers hanging out on?
And everybody's different, right? I mean, depends. You really have to know, are you a LinkedIn person? Are your clients more on LinkedIn? Are they more on Facebook? Are they more TikTok or Instagram? And that can be confusing to figure that out even for some people.
Absolutely. And so, you know, you don't need to be doing this on TikTok if your ideal reader is, you know, knee deep in LinkedIn So that would just be the biggest waste of your time ever. And unfortunately, a lot of those marketing gurus tell people you got to be everywhere. You have to be everywhere and you have to be doing all the things. And I say, no, just do the things that are strategic for you. And I think that what's beautiful about, bestsellersolutions.com in general is that we're helping people tailor the marketing to their specific book, because you can't do cookie cutter. Cookie cutter doesn't work. You know.
That is so true, because you think, am I supposed to do ads? Should I do, like, you listen to these courses and it's just like blanket your stuff everywhere. And then you're throwing all this money. We've had authors come to us like, I've been running Amazon ads and it's just not working for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know, like, do I spend money on Facebook ads? It becomes a big mystery. And what I love about, the Bestseller Solutions, the course that you're offering too within this today, is that you really demystify each step of that and walk the author through and let them figure out, hey, this is what you really should be doing, and targeting and honing it in.
Exactly. I had a client named Anne who was paying a company to post on LinkedIn for her. And so when she hired me and we started working together, I said, okay, now we're going to do an audit of your LinkedIn, because I have a feeling you're going to be very surprised about what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started reading out loud the posts that these people that she's paying good money for are putting on her LinkedIn page, which is her prime real estate, right? And we're reading these out loud and I'm going, okay, so this is a little bit boring and it doesn't sound like you at all and nobody's liking it. She was like, you're right. And so we were able to really create a system for her, because when you start speaking the right words and you have the right messaging, that makes all the difference. So now I'm going to segue into the thing I want to teach first, which is how to really get great content out of your book. So if you guys have a pen, or you have a remarkable like me, or you like to, jot things on, I don't know what, here are some great, lipstick on a mirror, whatever. So I don't recommend that, because that's probably not good for your mirror or your lipstick. So each chapter topic can be its own post. You can take the topic that you wrote about, because when you write that book, you have to have a plan, right? So what if you write a chapter, you have a topic, and then you say, okay, I'm going to write about that. That's a post. Or what about all the stories that you write in your introduction? Introductions are always about the story, telling you how you got where you are, why you're an expert, why you're a subject matter expert in this. So what if you recount a story? And you probably wrote it beautifully in your book, so why not repurpose that for your social media? Another one is, so how, oh, sorry, did you want to add something in?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name. It's Oprah's boyfriend.
Stedman.
Yeah, Stedman. So we watched him speak, and he sold his book afterwards. And literally the speech was one of the chapters out of his book, not the whole book. And it wasn't even really the whole chapter. So he took that part of it. So it's really that same concept of taking that chapter, dissecting it, getting the best quotes, getting the best content, getting the best stories out of that, and using that. You can either have it as a static post, and we're even telling authors, why not even go and do a Facebook Live or a recording talking about why I wrote this, what this meant to me, the backstory behind the story. There's so much you could do. You could probably come up with 10, 20 videos just from one chapter of your book.
Easily. Absolutely. And so another thing that authors love to do is include quotes from others in their book. So why not post about those and talk about what they mean to you and why you included it? For example, Melanie, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What's one of your favorite quotes?
Oh my gosh, you are putting me on the spot because I have a lot of quotes I love by Gary Vee. So I'm a big fan of his. So I would say one of his quotes, which I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Okay, sorry to put you on the spot. I will tell you mine, the one that I live by, which is not Gary Vee, although he's cool. It's Jack Canfield. And it is, I'm sorry, I'm still recovering 3 weeks from COVID and I still have these.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. It sounds so gross. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. And that is a Jack Canfield quote. And I say that to myself all the time because I will tell you, the first time I went live like this, I was like a deer in headlights. And now I go on and sometimes I don't even have notes because
it's ingrained.
It's ingrained. It's muscle memory, right? So the quotes, there's a story behind it always. And stories sell. That's why you wrote a book. So
I want to go deeper just for a second on leveraging those quotes from famous people that you have in your book, because you're almost gaming their audience, right? So Jack Canfield, you put a picture of Jack Canfield up there with a quote that was in your book that you're referencing it. Now, anyone who's a Jack Canfield fan, if it's hashtag Jack Canfield and they're searching for things by him, you're now hacking their audience. So if it's Gary Vee, if it's Oprah, it doesn't matter who it is, but if you can hack their audience, use a photograph of them, that's a great way to do it. So not only are you using the content from your book, you're really kind of hacking a celebrity's audience.
Brilliant. I love that. Exactly. And what about your client wins, transformations, and stories? Those are for sure sprinkled throughout. Because that is your credibility, right? That's your street cred. That is what shows people that you are truly a subject matter expert. So you've already written the stories about your clients. Start talking about them. And another one I want to add is testimonials. Those may be on the back cover of your book, but those are equally as important because when you show that other people think you're awesome, guess what? A crowd draws a crowd.
And that also kind of ties back into being a #1 bestseller, because when you're a #1 bestseller, that says enough people thought your book was brilliant that they bought it. So, I would rather buy a best-selling book than one that's not a bestseller, because it proves to me that, hey, a lot of people like this book and it got reviews. I want to go after that. A speaker, for someone who's going to speak somewhere, I'd rather be a #1 best-selling author. So having those testimonials and having that just gives you so much more credibility for the book and you as a person by getting those.
Absolutely. And even though a book is not a high ticket item, one thing that is required by the reader is attention. And at this point, we have so much noise coming at us all the time, and so you really have to carve out time for you to be reading or listening to a book. So that is a commitment. And so why not be that bestseller so people are more apt to make that commitment to listen or to read your book?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just think it's a title that you get for the rest of your life.
Forevermore.
Forevermore. I was, we're kind of veering into this, but I competed in the Miss Michigan pageant. And the first time I was 3rd runner-up. So I'm not necessarily putting I was 3rd runner-up at Miss Michigan on my resume, right? So, but then when I competed and finally became Miss Michigan, I was 1st runner-up, and I wasn't necessarily putting that on my resume either. But then when I became Miss Michigan and was 1st runner-up to Miss America, even though I wasn't Miss America, that had some credibility. Absolutely. But having that title, right? So, you're not going to say, I almost sold enough books to be a #1 bestseller. Hey, I was #2 on Amazon. That's what you're really going to say. You're #1. It seemed like getting that gold medal in the Olympics.
I was about to say that. Yes. Yeah, exactly. The person who comes in 4th place in the Olympics doesn't get on the podium.
Right. They're not on the Wheaties box.
No.
Right. They're not getting all the special endorsement deals and making all that extra money. But the number one person, the gold medalist is. And same, with Miss Michigan, she's getting the trophies and getting all the prizes and all that stuff. And they're getting the endorsement thing. So that's why one of the other reasons why it's so important. Let's recap a little bit what you taught so far so they really understand and don't forget. I know you're taking notes, but I want everybody to kind of go back in case you missed something. Just a quick recap of what we've gotten so far.
Absolutely. So the quick recap is your book is your ticket. It is your gold mine. So take a look at the chapters. Each chapter topic can be a post, a video, and so much more. And the stories that you've woven throughout, whether it's stories about you or stories about client wins and transformations, those are a great way to showcase who you are, give some behind the scenes, and show your credibility as a subject matter expert. And quotes from famous people, if you've sprinkled those throughout, post those. And as Melanie said, put a picture of the person you are quoting and tag them. Tag them on LinkedIn, tag them on Instagram, wherever they are. And also your testimonials, the reviews that are on your book and the reviews that you will get when you become a bestseller. Those are fantastic to keep sprinkling into your marketing so that you will show others the crowd draws the crowd and they want to buy your book too.
And, there was one other thing about, you think you mentioned about picking your social media platform. You don't have to be everywhere. We used to learn, be everywhere now was the thing, repurpose everything. But our time is so limited and we've got so much noise going on than we did 10, 15 years ago, even when social media was first started coming out. I love that you said just pick the superpower that's the social media platform that's your superpower, where your target audience is, and really double down, 10x down on that platform, and then use all these strategies that Melanie just told you about to hammer that in and really get traction there and start getting more likes and getting more views and things like that. I think that's just the way to go.
And absolutely, I'm going to add to that. Each social media has its own nuances. So what works on TikTok is not going to work on Facebook. But if you can get really good at the different options that each one offers, that your particular one offers, I should say,
right,
you're going to be a step ahead of everybody else who's trying to be everywhere at the same time and just throwing that proverbial spaghetti at the wall and getting nothing because nothing's sticking.
Yeah, I think that's so smart to do that and then your course. So this is some of what Melanie teaches, and tell us a little bit about the course that we're offering today in conjunction with something that we're offering today, which has never, ever been done before, that we're putting both of our courses together in a super, super special offer. So tell us a little bit about what is in the contents, what else they're going to learn when they jump in and do the course.
I mean, this is really the A to Z of how to market your book with your social media, your email marketing, creating a lead magnet, which we can talk about a little bit. What's a lead magnet? It's that freebie. That's your ticket for growing your email marketing subscriber list. And as we know, we are all just parking our cars in the metaverse parking lot, hoping not to get towed, because we do not own anything that has to do with social media. We don't own it. I mean, if you guys have seen what's happened with Twitter in the past 2 weeks, all of a sudden you can now pay $8 and get a blue check mark, and wait, now, no, you can't anymore. And I mean, we are sort of at the mercy of social media, which is why I'm such a big proponent of having your email grow. Kim, hi, Kim. Kim is a client of mine. It's so good to see you. Is TikTok a rising platform with the middle-aged or just with millennials? Oh, that's such a great question. The answer is the first one. Yes, it is a rising with those in midlife. And yes, TikTok could be a great place. So Kim has a lifestyle foundation, and she's writing a book about it and how to really does your home? Do your surroundings empower you and give you your best life? So that would be a great place for TikTok.
Absolutely. And they have, I'm not sure the name of it, but they have like the baby boomer TikTok, like the parent, it's like, there's the parent TikTok and then there's the young TikTok. Like they have, it's almost like two divisions. They're both under the same umbrella, but yeah, it's definitely, and I think if you can learn to use it, definitely try it out. And that's the thing. I mean, like Melanie says, you want to find what works for you, but you have to experiment sometimes. You know, TikTok was relatively new, a year, 2 years ago. And we were like, oh, is it going to stay? Is it not going to stay? You know, like Clubhouse came, and I feel like it kind of went.
Yes.
I was like, I'm not learning it till I know it's coming. It's going to stay for a while. So, you know, experiment. Like we've been experimenting for us, and we've gotten really good response on TikTok. So we're going to keep using it more. But if it was crickets, then I don't know that we would stay there.
Right.
So it's good to experiment, but you don't have to try and be everywhere.
No, exactly. You do not need to be everywhere. And so okay, so we talked about some of what's in the course, and then there's all about launch marketing. And I don't mean becoming a bestseller, but I mean how to create marketing around the launch of your book. Because it isn't just, hey, I have a book. You know, there's a process that you need to follow with your emails, with your socials, with all those things. So it really takes you step by step through not only how to take the goodness out of your book and utilize it in your marketing, but then also how to keep going, how to keep up that consistency. And so that's why we also have accountability emails that go out so that you are regularly being held accountable. Because one thing we know about marketing is that consistency is key. And I like to say that marketing, well, really, consistency in marketing is the granny panties of marketing, because it's really unsexy, but it's necessary. So, and that gives like people a really good visual. So they remember, okay, consistency, granny panties, got it. And and another thing that is offered with this course is that I have everyone who joins will get 2 one-on-one strategy sessions with me. And those are 30-minute strategy sessions where you get to have one-on-one time, FaceTime with me, and you get to ask all the questions, and we can really dive in even deeper. And
that's huge. I think that's just huge to have that one-on-one with you and dive deep into what their business is and what their book is about and how to use it. That's huge.
And I'm so thrilled to be able to offer that along with this program and along with the Bestseller Solutions program, because this is really the pinnacle of what authors need to have in order to sell their books and speak on stages and really fill programs and do all the things that you want to do by leveraging your book for those things.
I think that's incredible. We got a question called, how often should you be posting on social media and how often should you send emails to your email list? That's a great question. Let's Shanur Stories asked that.
I love that question. And so I would say how often you should be posting on social media depends on a few things. Depends on what social media platform you're on. It also depends on your schedule and what fits for you, because if you're forcing it, your audience is going to know that you're not in it, and it's just going to fall flat. So I say to my clients, you know, aim for 3 times a week and then build from there. And in terms of email marketing, once a week is a great goal.
And I remember when you're doing that, I think people forget is, you know, bring value. So you're teaching, if it's a nonfiction book, you're teaching in your book. So bring value, give them something, like she was saying, take quotes that they learn something from. And so they want to open the email every time. Oh my gosh, this is really good. I know I'm going to get something out of this today. I know I'm going to be inspired, motivated, or educated today by opening this email from this author. So remember to give value and don't be afraid. Oh, am I giving too much of my content away? the philosophy is give it all away, give as much as you can away, especially for nonfiction business books, because you're really going after that big ticket item by using your book, the lead generation. So I think that's really important.
Such a great point. You can't give away too much. Ooh, I love this question.
Yeah. What are some of the new trends you see coming in book marketing?
I think individuality is key. Because
Mhm.
I think what we've been seeing is that and another trend, I don't even want to call this a trend because that makes it seem like it's going to go away.
Yeah.
But what's been happening up until now is that many publishers have told authors, oh, your lead magnet just needs to be the first chapter of your book. And if it's all right, Melanie, I'd love to tell a story of a woman that I didn't work with because she was just not in a good place for this. But I will tell you, you got to learn from others' mistakes, right? Because then we don't repeat them. So I met with a woman and she told me that she had hired a publicist. The publicist had gotten her on almost 20 different things, including a national morning show. I said, that's incredible. How many books have you sold? 100.
Yeah. It didn't move the needle. And that's happening. They're like, I'm on the Today Show, but it didn't move the needle.
Exactly. And the answer and the question why? Well, I have the answer. The messaging is not resonating. And that is like the foundational piece that so many authors miss. And then when they want to grow their email list and the publisher says, well, just give away the first chapter of your book, which is what this woman was doing. And I said, well, how is that working for you? And she said, well, it's not. I said, well, of course it's not working because nobody wants to read the first chapter of your book. It might not be the best chapter. And she said, well, I give away the table of contents too. And I said, I don't think that that's a draw either. So learn from that woman's mistake and instead create a lead magnet that is going to draw people in. We are savvy people. We don't just give away our email addresses for anything anymore.
Again, it's that value thing. We teach our authors from the very beginning, and not just to put a lead magnet in the first chapter, because on Amazon, when you scan the book, right after the table of contents, we like to put your offer right there because you can click right from Amazon. Now, this is one of our secrets. You can click right from Amazon in the preview of the book to go to your landing page to opt in to your page without even buying the book. So you could get their email address because they're curious just to see what you offer. If you make it really juicy, right? It needs to be irresistible and juicy and bring value that's not already in the book, something that's not anywhere else. So they can only get by opting in. Like they're not going to find it on YouTube if they go search it on YouTube, right? They're not going to find it on Pinterest as a PDF. It needs to be unique that they only find there and be really juicy and give a lot of value and be irresistible.
That's such a brilliant idea. So you guys, we're just dropping truth bombs everywhere here.
We are. Well, we better start rolling into our secrets for being a #1 bestseller.
Yes.
And then we're kind of go back and reiterate everything. But I mean, just huge things. I think Melanie just gave you so much content right there and so much more when you buy the course that you're really, really, really going to get so much out of it and then become a #1 bestseller.
And the question was, when do you start marketing your book? And I say, as soon as you've outlined it, you can start marketing it. It does not have to be published yet. And so that's why this bundle is amazing because you'll be able to do all the pre-planning before it's published.
Yes, this works for anybody, whether you just have an idea about a book and you're thinking about it and getting ready to get started, or your book is already published and it hasn't gone anywhere. Because you are so right. We always say, as soon as you're writing your book, you need to start marketing it. That's the whole plan, to gain all that momentum and get people interested in your content and excited for you that they're doing it. So you're building up all this pent up excitement about, oh, I got to get that book. It's coming out. It's coming out.
I agree. Well, I'm back because I need to talk about what's included in the Bestseller Solutions course. because
Well,
this course is amazing. Like it really I actually didn't want to do the content that's in this course because it gives away so many of our secrets.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you need to become a bestseller,
Okay.
right? There's certain keys. So we're going to teach you a little bit about what we teach in the course, just to give you an idea. And some of these things you may hear, yeah, I've kind of heard that before. And it really starts with having a great book cover. Because when you have a great book cover, they're going to see you, and that's what draws them in, the color. So what are things about a great book cover? And remember, the book cover is only this big. It's tiny. It's on Amazon. And people have gotten caught up in the bookstore. I want to be in bookstores, but the physical book is almost not, you're not going to see the physical book. So I always say bookstores are kind of like Blockbuster. They're almost gone. They're dying.
Mhm.
So if you see one, there's always going to be a few, but it's really most of the books right now, 80% of all books are sold online. So, and that number is going to keep getting bigger. So book cover. So think of it as a small little icon. The other great tip is that they have to have contrast, right? You don't want to have like gray letters on a black background or something that you don't see the background from the font of what you're saying. You really want it to pop. So that's really, really important. The other thing that we teach too is it needs to be brand centric. You know, if you have a company and your brand's like our colors are gray, white, and blue, and if we go orange and red for our book cover, it doesn't really make sense. So we want to keep, and if you don't have a brand yet and you're just starting out, that's even better because guess what? The book is going to define your brand and the colors, and it's going to carry through to everything else. So you do it once and then you know what it is through the whole thing. So that's, one of the most important things. And then Jen, talk about the title and subtitle.
Yeah, well, I want to reiterate what you said about the book cover because I'm sorry to tell you, but people do judge a book by the cover. They do. So
True.
when you're scrolling through Amazon and you're looking through books, you're going to see the ones that stand out to you. You're not going to see the ones that if you have a white book, don't be offended, but white books don't work on Amazon because the background of Amazon's website is white. So if you're scrolling through Amazon and there's a white book with no borders, it's going to look like it does not even look like a rectangle anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to blend into the background of Amazon. So you definitely want to have contrast. You want to have color, and you can have white on your cover. I'm not saying you can't have white on your cover. I'm saying don't make it white.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to have a border. And think about how many times you buy products just based on the packaging.
Yeah.
Skincare, shampoo, something in the grocery store, food item, it's all the packaging makes a big difference. And that's the same thing. You're packaging your book and it really needs to be compelling and standing out among those other millions and millions of books. And the other thing is your title and subtitle.
Yes. Well, and that being said, with the book cover, the Bestseller Solutions teaches you how to become a bestseller as well as self-publish your book. So, this is the whole package right here. And I just want to tell you, just because you're self-publishing doesn't mean you do it all by yourself. Okay. So on your book cover, don't cinch your book cover. Like, don't do it simple. Like, oh, I just created this on Canva in 2 seconds and it looks beautiful. Well, maybe if you did that, make sure you do like 5 of those covers and then ask people which one they like best and then get feedback and get, because you don't want to just be creating a book cover because you want to do it all by yourself. Hire someone who's a graphic designer. If you have graphic design skills, that's great. But if you don't, hire someone who knows what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to cinch your book cover because your book cover is the number one thing. And then the number 2 thing is the title and subtitle, which Melanie's talking about. So the title and subtitle really do matter. And if you've already published your book, it's okay because on your second book, you can utilize this tips that we're teaching you. But the title and subtitle, you really have to have a keyword loaded title. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm sure you already know, but Amazon is a search engine. It's just like Google. So when you're searching for something, whether you're searching for, a kitchen tool or a book, you're going to put in a certain keyword to find that, right? Mm-hmm. And if your book title doesn't include those keywords, they're not going to find your book. There's millions and millions of books on Amazon. So the title and subtitle are really, really important. Of course, you want to have one that grabs attention, but you don't want it to be all fluffy and, too too cheesy, right?
No clickbait there.
Yeah, it doesn't really help. You really want to tell, for nonfiction books, we always say, you want to tell in the subtitle who your book is for, what problem you're solving, and what benefit they're going to get by getting the book. That's your subtitle. I mean, think of the best books out there. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do you know what that book's about? Do you know who it helps? Do you know what you're going to get when you read it? Yeah, you do, right? So you really want to make sure that you have a really good title and subtitle. And then, of course, the keywords and categories and all the things that come with it when you're publishing the book. That's what we teach you in the bestseller solution.
And that's the complicated part. People don't really know how to search for keywords and how to pick the right categories. And there's subcategories. So it's not just picking a big blanket category, because there's all these subcategories under the categories. And I think that's really the secret sauce that this course teaches you. So it's really understanding how to pick the categories, how to pick the keywords, and getting the subcategories and getting them right. So we do like a huge deep dive in this, but we've taught you what we do in this course. So you're getting the secret sauce in the course when you do it, because we want you to be successful, right? When you buy this course, if you're successful, then we're successful, and we feel good about that. So I think that's a lot of the secret sauce. And then Jenn mentioned earlier about how Amazon works for you for SEO. So one of those other things is your Amazon and Goodreads author profile, which most people throw away. They're like, and most publishers throw away. So that's like a Facebook page for an author. This is another key thing to helping you be a #1 bestseller and book marketing, that you populate that. You should have a picture in there. You should have your blog post feed or your podcast feed, the RSS feed, connected to that, because it updates it all the time. You can have 8 videos and 8 photographs in there. So like Melanie was talking earlier, have testimonials, have reviews, you talking about a chapter. So it's kind of no brainer between what she's telling you and what is on this Amazon author page is the same thing. So using those same strategies the same way. And then there's social media, which we cover a little bit, but Melanie really goes deep into her course about it. And then the launch team. So you want to talk about the launch team a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, the launch team is super important. And I'm sure Melanie knows, if you don't have people backing you or an audience, if you don't know who your audience is, that's the #1 thing. You're probably not going to sell very many books. People will come to us all the time and say, oh, well, I'm going to publish my book. I'm going to put it out there. And then they have crickets and they don't understand why. They forgot to build the audience first. So it's always about who your audience is first. We actually met this person. I can't remember their name right now, but it was in Books to Bucks, in the book I wrote with Everett O'Keefe. We found out this guy who wrote a book for one person, did a job. So they knew who their audience was. They were writing a book for one person. And then they published that book and they mailed that book to that person with a note that said, read page 30 because I'm the one you need to hire, or whatever he said on his note. And of course he was hired, right? Because that was a really unique way. But he wrote the book. I mean, it's a really high level CEO position, right? So that's really important to know who your audience is and to write for that audience. And if you've already written your book, that's okay, because you can still build your audience. If you don't have a launch team, you don't have an audience, then you don't have anyone who's going to be supporting you, and you really need that support. So we always tell people, it's almost like when you're having a wedding or a special event, you kind of want to build 2 lists. You want a list that's your wedding list, and you want a list that's everyone else. So when you have a wedding, you don't want to be inviting everyone to that wedding, because you don't want the weirdos there, right? Or whatever. You don't want the people who.
Well, you want people are going to show up, right? Are going to show up. So you have like all these friends, and they're all wonderful, and they may say they're going to buy the book, but you have the core people that are going to come to your wedding. They're going to bring you a beautiful gift, and they're going to have a great time. So you want those people that are going to buy your book, that are going to leave you a review and share it on social media. So those are your core people that you can count on no matter what. They're going to do what you ask them to do. And the other 950 people or 50 people, that's all you have on your list, they may or may not do it. You're going to ask nicely, but you don't know that if they will or not. The ones who say they're going to come to your party, but they usually don't show up. So those are the core people. So those are kind of the 2 lists of people. And
We
Go
have a
ahead.
deep dive in the Bestseller Solutions course that just talks specifically about the launch team. It's almost like a mini course that we've thrown into the Bestseller Solutions, because it's kind of, how to publish the book, how to make a good title, how to choose the right keywords, and then how to have your launch team. The whole section on launch team is really important, because that's when you're launching your book, you want to go right out the gate. What does it, Melanie, say about football? You have a good sports analogy for that.
Oh yeah, I did my sports analogy. So what we like to do and what this course will do for you is like a football game, and you score a touchdown on the very first play. So that means your book goes right to number one, right when you launch it, or you're relaunching it and you scored. The whole team is elated. You're elated. And then the goal is to keep you like on that 20-yard line so you can keep scoring and hitting bestseller rank. So keeping that momentum. And what this combination of these two courses do for you is you get that bestseller, you score the touchdown, and then Melanie Herschorn's course is going to keep you on that 10 to 20-yard line that you can keep scoring over and over and keeping your book in that top 100 from number 1 to 100 over and over and over again. So that's why those two things are so important, to kind of marry those two things together.
Yeah.
And we had an author of, becoming a number one bestseller. Why is that important to you? So, we had Tracy Green, who after she hit number one bestseller, she got the opportunity to be on a TEDx talk. So it wasn't just the book. She had told them a book was coming out, and they're like, yeah, that's nice. You got a book coming out. But then when it hit number one, she immediately got accepted to be TEDx. Kate DeLeo, she was an author. She'd been promoting her book the whole time. She did a bestseller campaign with us. And the places that she was booked to speak, they're like, yes, you can come and speak. She had to pay her own way. She had to do all that. Guess what? After her book hit number one, they reached out to her and said, we would love to have you at 20 more places to speak for us, and we're going to pay your way and pay you to be here. I mean, that's the difference, right? So you say, is it worth the investment? So the investment, how many things have you invested in that, they come and go, whether it's social media posts that someone's going to post for you? Well, then it goes, but your number one bestseller status, like I said earlier, is really that title that lasts you for a lifetime. The rest of your life, you'll be introduced on stages as a number one best-selling author. It'll be on your LinkedIn page. It'll be on your Facebook page. How many times, if you start to pay attention to any news media outlet that you watch, when they introduce the guest people that are coming on to be the experts, almost all of them are best-selling authors. They'll say, best-selling author so-and-so is going to talk about the stock market today. Best-selling author is going to talk about this political platform because they're an expert. So you get more doors opening when you're a best-selling author versus you're just an author. It's important to be an author. It's great. And congratulations when you get that book done, because that is huge. But if you can take it with all of that hard work and for just that little extra push with our solution and Melanie's course together, where you're marrying becoming a bestseller and keep that momentum of that marketing going and keeping those doors open for you, is just huge.
Yeah. I want Melanie to answer this question.
Sure.
How do you find people who will love to read your book?
Oh, I love that. Okay. So it goes back to what we were mentioning earlier about finding the right platform for you to be on. So where are your ideal readers hanging out online? And then you will learn in this program different strategies that you can implement to not just what to post and when to post, but how to engage and grow your audience. Because that's huge. You might hear about relationship marketing. That's what I preach and teach, because sure, you can spray your stuff and it goes out, but who's looking at it? It's really about that one-to-one, that reaching out one-to-one and developing a relationship. I mean, we as humans are starved for connection. So when you utilize your marketing to really create connections, that's how you grow your audience. And that's how you find those people who are so excited to help you. I mean, I have made so many connections online with people I have never met in person. I've never met you guys in person. I feel like I have.
That's how we met, was through connection. I think it was through LinkedIn that we connected and had liked each other's content and said, hey, I think that we could partner with each other. And, the other answer to that question is what Melanie said earlier, was taking your quotes or quotes you people like that go with your platform, those celebrities, and hacking their audience. That'll help grow your list. And partnerships. Like, look, we've created this partnership here with us and Melanie that we're sharing each other's platform. So we're being introduced to her audience. She's being introduced to our audience. So that's also a great way to do it.
Yes. This next question kind of goes along with writing the book. Like, how good does a book need to be to become a bestseller? But, this isn't really about writing. This is more about what to do after you've written the book. But I would say, of course, you're going to sell more books if your book is a good book. So your content, your stories, everything that goes inside the book, that's a whole nother conversation. But to be a bestseller, you do have to have a good book. And then if you know how to sell books and to market books, that's what this courses teach you.
Absolutely. And I would even add to that, why would you want to put out something that isn't your best work?
It represents you. So everything you put out represents you and your brand. But I want to be clear about this too, because some people, like, you could start thinking, oh man, my book's got to be really good. So then you get into this cycle of, is good enough? Is perfect enough? And authors come to us all the time. I've been working on my book for 3 years. I keep going back and editing it. I have 40,000 words, but I just feel like I need to rework this other section. And then it's going to be another 3 years. So sometimes, you want to have a good quality book. I think the key is be authentic, give great value. Don't be afraid to give away everything that you know and put it in the book, because people are still going to want more. All right. Make sure you have a great editor. That's really important. And then perfect is perfect enough, because you want to get the book out there. As soon as that book is out there, it starts working for you.
Yes.
So think of it as, it's like, if you're not on social media at all, well, then no one's going to know who you are. If you don't tell anybody who you are, they're not going to know who you are. So it's important to get it out there. So keep those things in mind.
Yeah. And I would add to that the beta reader program. Because you're going to know if you have a good book if you do a beta reader program. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. There's tons of stuff online on how to do beta readers. But have people read your book before you launch it. They'll give you a lot of feedback. But you don't want to just say, what do you think of my book? No. There's a whole program behind it. We do a program. Our editor does a program. So talk to your editor. See if you can find something with a beta reader program, because you really want to have that feedback so that you can add more stories or whatever their feedback is, right?
Yeah. So I want to get into a little bit. So just to recap what we talked about, just so you know, just to say, okay, so we talked about your cover. Have a great cover for bestseller. That's going to attract people. Have a great title and subtitle. Have great keywords, that back end. That's kind of that big mystery. The keywords and the categories. So we kind of teach you how to try and get more categories, because Amazon tells you you only get 2. So our course is giving you some of those secrets on how to get in more categories, which is more eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. Not everyone knows this secret. We actually have done bestseller campaigns with books that have been published by traditional publishers. And those traditional publishers tell us, oh, well, we only get 2. And we say, oh, well, okay, well, we have a relationship with Amazon and we know how to get more than 2. And we like to do them in multiple countries. So that's what this course is going to teach you.
Right. And so, and the other big important thing is the launch team. How to create your own launch team, and why that's important, because if they're going to share it on their social media, it's going to help grow you, your list, and your business. So those are really important. And so what this class does, our courses, what it's going to do, it's going to teach you, number one, how to set up all your accounts. So if you've never even published a book before, and you're getting ready to, or even if you have and you're like, I didn't do that when I published my book, I need to go back. So double check everything to make sure you have it set up correctly if you already have a book. And if not, it's going to give you step-by-step. And I'm going to give you a little business advice right now. So if you don't have an LLC, you need to have an LLC. Your book and your business should be under an LLC, because there's huge tax advantages. I'm not a CPA, but I can just tell you that advice alone will save you thousands of dollars in tax. Okay, so you should do a lot of write-offs you can do. And then it also teaches you not just an ebook, it teaches you how to upload a paperback book. So we believe you should have both, because for marketing purposes, you can really utilize both in different ways. So you shouldn't just do a paperback. You shouldn't just do an ebook. You really, really, really need to have both of those things. We go deep into the Amazon author page that we talked about. What should you have on there? What are some of the tips of what you should put in there? The types of videos, the types of photographs, all of that is in there as well. Then we go into boosting your book. And how to make it more popular and to promote it week by week. So before the launch, and then Melanie also has all of her stuff on top of that. So it goes into the deep dive of the categories. So we've just got module after module. There's 7 modules all total. And then there's also, the royalties and, how to get speaking gigs. I think we even have that in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the questions is, how do you find speaking gigs? Do you wait for people to contact you? I would say no, don't wait. You want to contact them. We actually have a list of places to find speaking gigs. You can hire someone that can book you at different events. So there's lots of different ways to find speaking gigs. We have one other question for you, Melanie H., on what you meant by individuality.
Well, I think if I can recall back to the beginning of this conversation, I believe when I was speaking of individuality is that every book is different and that every author is different, and you have to sort of dive deep and figure out what it is that your mission is and what drives you and why your book is special, and finding that unique proposition kind of thing. What is it that makes your book different and stand out from the millions of books that are out there right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back to the question we had about speaking and teach one of our things that we do. So when we do author websites for authors, we create their website or redo their website. What we do is we put a section on their website that they can be booked to speak. So we have a whole speaker form that we put on there with questions, type of event, number of people attending, what their budget is. So those are some of the things we put on the form for them. Mm-hmm. And that way, when people are finding you on your website, they already know that you're available to speak, right? That should also be put in your book. If you'd like to book me as a speaker, put it here. It should also be on your Amazon author page. If you'd like to book me as a speaker, go here. So those are things that can generate, because if you don't tell anyone that you're a speaker, how do they know? Right? So, and it's like having that buy button on Amazon. It's like the buy button on your website that they can go ahead and book you right there and inquire for you to be a speaker right there. So that's part of it. So Melanie, go through a little bit more about your course again. So we have both these courses, and for the first time ever, they're being offered together.
It is amazingly fun because it's all the framework that I take, individual clients with, and you have access to it. And it's 13 modules, and each one is under 10 minutes. And then there's worksheets and tools and resources for you to really start implementing. And you get accountability emails that come to you so you can stay on track. Remember, consistency is the granny panties of marketing. Is unsexy, but it is necessary. And in each module, you're going to learn social media, email marketing, lead magnets, how to nurture your audience, how to engage with your audience and grow it, launch marketing strategies, and so much more. And also, you get 2 one-on-one strategy sessions with me, where I sit with you for 30 minutes apiece, and you ask me all the questions, and we really do a deeper dive to customize the marketing for you and your book and brand.
That's amazing. So I want to say the offer is these 2 things together are normally almost $6,000 together. And we're offering it today for $1,997. But on top of that, we're giving away $3,000 worth of bonuses. So really, this is almost $9,000 worth of content that you're going to get for $1,997. So the bonuses include access to our marketing portal. And I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of one of the things that's in the marketing portal. So did you know that Kroger grocery store will let you do book signings there? At unlimited Kroger's, you can set up a table there, bring your books in, and do book signings. Can you imagine how much traffic comes in? I know when I hate having to go grocery shopping on Saturday or Sunday, it's packed. I feel like it's a traffic jam in the aisles. So you could set up your book on a Saturday or Sunday or both days and do book signings. And you were asking how do you grow your audience? Those are all new people that have never seen you before. You can have a big banner behind you, do a pull-up banner and have your books there and do a signing. We've even suggested, you're like, I don't want to sit all day at a Kroger. Well, then hire your niece, your nephew, your son to sit there. And then you only come in for 2 hours to do the signing. So they're selling the books and you're advertising the author's going to be here for just 2 hours today, but the books are, available the whole day. So things like that, these secret little things that we've come across that we keep adding into our marketing portal. So we must have, I don't know, like 30 of those things in our marketing portal. All of these secret tips of how to get the edge on your book. So you'll have access to that portal as well for one of the bonuses.
Yeah, we even have the speaker sheet in there on where to get booked to speak. So we have that in there too.
And then Melanie, you have a bonus too that you've added in there.
It is a live workshop on getting yourself booked on podcasts. So how to create that speaker one sheet for podcasts and how to find podcasts, all the little tricks, and how to be a good podcast guest that helps you actually leverage your book and leverage that podcast to grow your audience. Because just being a guest isn't going to do it. That is not what is going to sell books for you. So that special workshop, it's got a higher ticket value and it is a bonus and I'm very excited.
So now you may say, oh my gosh, maybe it's not the time, holidays are coming up. I don't have $19.97. Well, we offer a 3-pay for $700, I think, and $30 for each payment that you can do. Think about what other marketing things have you been trying with your book? How much money have you invested so far on things that didn't work? And this, you're going to become a #1 best-selling author and the marketing tools with it. So you're going to have this title for a lifetime. We know it works because we've done it with every single one of our books. So, we were saying, gosh, if you buy a Starbucks every day, I went and bought just a grande pumpkin chai latte. It cost me $7.
Yeah.
$7? Because it's pumpkin. So if you're going to spend $7 every day on a latte or even $6, that's just take one latte away for like 10 months and then you've paid for this in full. And you've got a title that lasts you a lifetime. A latte doesn't last you very long.
Right.
Don't last. So
have Melanie H give us one last word because I know you have to run. So one last word you want to explain, and then Melanie Johnson and I will finish answering all the questions.
So the last thing I want to say is I want to jump off what Melanie said about the money, right? You've spent money on the book and it's, do I have to market it too? Won't people just come? And the answer is no, just like you would not throw a party and forget to send out invitations. You have to continue to market and market the right way. And that's exactly what these courses put together create for you, is the entire strategy on how to market your book the most effectively. And that's going to make you stand out because that's what you want, right? You wrote the book. You didn't write the book for it to sit and collect dust on the shelf. So take that step today and invest in yourself and invest in your book, and you will see magical things happen.
So true. Nathan Johnson, when he came out with his book and became a bestseller, because of that, he got verified on Instagram, which totally changed his career. So, invest in yourself, invest in your brand, invest in your book, but invest in the right things. We know that these are proven. We know that it's worked. So it really, really makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks, Melanie, for being here. And we're really excited to have joined forces and have our 2 courses together.
So excited. Thank you all.
Thanks. So another reason you may say, gosh, I just don't know if I have time for another course. I buy courses and I don't do it. So I want to give you some incentive to do it. When you pay in full, you're going to get these bonuses. So there's things that you are going to get right away that you can implement right away by being in that marketing portal. The other thing is we were saying, oh my gosh, like I'm going to say it. I binge watched House of Dragons. I did. So, that was 8 hours plus to do that. And if you take binge watching a series and instead do this, you could literally get through all of the material in about I think we said like 5 hours. You could actually get through the material and then you just have the implementation in it. So turn off the binge watching and know that you did something great for you, great for your success, and that's going to last you and your book for years to come. So, I mean, we all want to zone out now and then, but how great to know that you invested in something that's really going to take your book to the next level.
Yes, I love that.
So it's just 3 payments of $730, or and you get access right away with the first payment, or you can pay in full of the $19.97 and get the 2 bonuses with that, which is access to our marketing portal with all those great little marketing tips and tricks, and you get the free workshop with Melanie about how to get booked on podcasts. And I think that's another great way. We always tell our authors to start getting booked on podcast before the book is launched, because our podcast, we do a podcast every week, and we're already booking, I think, in February right now, and it's just November. So it's real important to get that going as well and to learn about how to do that.
Yes, and this is for a limited time. So don't think that this price is going to be what it's going to be forever, because I mean, we're really combining our forces together and giving you a deep discount because we want you to succeed. We want you to become a bestseller. We want your book to have that #1 international bestseller title or a sticker, whichever you like. If sometimes it's a title above your name or below your name, and sometimes it's a sticker. We want you to have that title on your book. We want you to know what to do with the book. Melanie Herschorn's course tells you exactly what you need to do. And then to have one-on-one time with her, I mean, that's an amazing bonus. I'm so excited about that. And our book marketing portal, we just launched that out for our authors only. So we're giving that to anyone who buys the course. They're going to have access to and I think we said for 12 months, right?
Yeah,
12 months worth of our marketing portal. I mean, that alone is worth, so much value.
And we update it all the time. We're always adding new things as we find new things we're putting in there.
Yes, definitely.
Now, there might be somebody who says, I'm really not a do-it-yourself person. Can you just do it for me? And we do that for people all the time. So if that's you, then just go to our website, hit the author submission button, and say that you came to our live feed and want to become a bestseller. And then we'll see if we're a good fit for that, because I'm not a DIY person. I want someone to do it for me. I'm sorry. I want to be concierge. I want to have all that stuff. But, this is such a great offer that you can easily do this yourself. You can easily walk in, and not with a whole lot of time or investment, you can do it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Do we have any other questions, Jen, that we might have missed?
The only other question I think we missed was someone that asked, can you speak before you have your book done? And I'm going to answer this question it really depends on where you're speaking. So we have heard of people who did not get hired to speak because they didn't have a book. We know people that don't get TV appearances unless they have a book. Like there is a key that you get to the door if you do have a book. But of course you can speak before you have your book done. You just got to apply to those places that you want to speak at. But you're most likely you're going to get accepted to speak at more places when you have a book.
Right. And you can charge when you have a book. You can charge a speaking fee when you have a book. We have speakers that they're like, I've been speaking and I desperately need a book because I get done and they want more content from me and I should be selling books. Yeah. So there's a whole way to do that. I think that's in our book, Books to Bucks, what I believe is in the marketing portal, that shows you exactly how to leverage your book when you're speaking. There's like several different ways to use your book while you're speaking to sell more books and get your foot in the door, and how to use it as a negotiation tool when you're booking speaking engagements as well.
Our author, Dr. Murillo, she is the Spanish Hispanic Chamber of Commerce president, and she didn't have a book, but her title of being the president of the Hispanic Chamber, she got lots of speaking gigs, right? But once she had her book and her website and everything tied together, now she's speaking on a whole different level. I mean, she was speaking at some pretty big events, but now she's the keynote speaker, right? Now she's the #1 international best-selling author speaking at all of these events. And we've been putting up on her website, we've been putting those places that she's been speaking, and she's getting paid a lot more money than she was getting paid because she has that title.
Yeah. So I think there's no excuse for $730 for 3 months. You can get your foot in the door and become a bestseller and learn all the marketing things that you've been dying to do with your book instead of investing maybe in a VA that has no idea what to do and how to market a book. I can't tell you how many marketing companies, they just don't know what to do with a book. And I know that because our authors are coming to us saying, I spent $3,000 a month for 5 months and I got nothing. I don't know what they were doing because they didn't know what they were doing. So here we have an expert and that tells you exactly what to do and how to do it with the book for your book, not just any book, because you're going to get those free one-on-ones with her to really do that deep dive of what you should be doing exactly with your book and the course to implement everything. So we are so grateful you came today. We hope you got a lot of value. We hope you learned different things about social media, learned different things about what you should be doing with your book. You need to market it right away. Things about having a great title, having a great cover, learning who your audience is. You don't have to be on every social media. Just find that exact social media that's for you and really diving into that individual and having that authenticity of you and your brand. So, 2023 is right around the corner. It's time to really invest in you, invest in your brand, and know that you feel good about it and that it's going to open doors for you and that you're investing in something and a title that you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so visit bestsellersolutions.com. And when you pay in full, you receive the bonuses. Or if you want to do that 3-page, just go to the bottom of the page and you'll see that link there.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. And you can always reach out to us if you have more questions. Have a great week.
Have a great week.